Hello everyone, my name is Ahsan, and in today's video we're going to be learning how we can use the directory busting tools to bust out the directories of the victim web server and gain access to the complete machine. So let's get started. So basically, what is directory busting? Directory busting means the web server that's running, suppose a victim's running a web server, the port 80, basic HTTP that we are going to use on the TryHackMe. The machine is called the Pickle machine. So we have a web server on that with port 22 and 80 open. Okay, 22 for SSH connectivity when we completely hack the machine. And the next thing is that directory busting is basically when you bust some directories in the current web server directory. Suppose the web server is running in var www html. Okay, this is the directory in which the server is running, and we can like execute and deploy the victim site. Then the next thing is that when we run the GoBuster, I'll be using GoBuster instead of Directory Buster. Now you might be thinking, like, won't that make any difference because TryHackMe tells us to use DirBuster and I'm using GoBuster. That's not a big deal because both work the same, and in fact GoBuster is much more efficient and faster than DirBuster, which also shows us the status codes of what directories do exist and do not, or have forbidden access, is a bad request, or anything, etc., whatever the status codes are. So let's get started on hacking the machine. Okay, so let's first of all go to TryHackMe, and as I told you, the room's name is Pickle. Let's execute Pickle over here, and the first thing we need to do is connect to the VPN. That's the most important thing, because without that you cannot access the victim machine. Okay, here's my VPN, and I'm connected to it. Now let's start the machine. I'll be using the Terminator because this gives me much more functions to split the terminal, because whenever I'm working, whenever I have many terminals, I can just organize them. It can also be split vertically, but for now I'll just need two terminals. Let's zoom in a bit so that it will be easy for you to see. Go to TryHackMe, and we're gonna make a directory called Pickle, or let's say Pickle. Okay, Pickle. As you can see, nothing's in it. Now you can also view my previous video of ethical hacking phases. Basically, that's the theory and this is the practical. All of the phases in that machine are implemented in this practical example. So let's get started. The Reconnaissance Step. All we need in Reconnaissance is the machine IP, and we have got it. Okay, now we start our scanning process. Scanning will be of nmap. I need to output the nmap scan into scan.txt and the victim IP. That's it. Now it's the nmap scan has been begun. Now let's also welcome our GoBuster. Here's what we are gonna do. GoBuster is a great tool for directory busting. You can also use DirBuster, but it's not much more faster than GoBuster. You have many functions, many available commands. You can either use directory enumeration, DNS subdomain enumeration, fuzzing, or AWS bucket enumeration. Now AWS bucket enumeration can also be tested on the Hack the Box bucket machine. You can also use that, but we don't have that type of scenario in this. Let's execute GoBuster. We need to use the directory enumeration, and I'll be specifying the word list. Now the word list will be the same as the DirBuster. Okay, I mean word list, yeah. DirBuster and directory 2.3 medium.txt. U stands for the URL, HTTP, and the victim IP. Now we are also going to specify an X tag. Now this X tag, what does it do is that here X stands for extensions in GoBuster. This tells us that we can also specify what type of extension, what extension files we need GoBuster to bust for us. Suppose I need HTML, okay, then I need JavaScript, JS, ASP for if the machine is running Windows IIS server, ASPX, Py, Ruby, TXT, MD, or even PHP. You can also use many other than this, but for now these are enough. And let's start our GoBuster. Our scan has been completed, and as you can see it says index.html. Now what's index.html over here? This is basically the home page, the same page that I've opened right now. See, and the best thing you need to do whenever you're hacking a web server is that first of all check its page source. Let's check the page source, and these are the files that are gathered by GoBuster up till now. Let's close the scan, and all we need is something in the comments. Yeah, note to self, remember username is Rick Rules. Congratulations, we have got the Rick Rules as the username, sudo nano information. I'll make a information file so that I can document everything that I found. TryHackMe Pickle Rick. Okay, now username is Rick Rules. The directories found, is it R? Yeah. Directories are /index.html and also /login.php. And the next thing we need to do after viewing the page source whenever hacking the web server is to view the Robots Txt. This file contains some valuable information about what things are allowed and what things are disallowed. Okay, so it's taking some time. Yeah. So this is not the actual content that robots.txt must have. It's something else. This can also be a hint of something. I'll keep that as a hint. Save and exit. And add empty. Okay, yeah, here we have it. Now, as you know, we have found a login.php. We can try accessing it. Login.php, and it's a portal login page with username specification and password specification. We need to specify the information we found was okay. Yeah, username is Rick Rules. Copy, paste. Okay, also a password is required. Let's try password. Okay, it's not working. It says invalid username or password. Yeah, what about this? This can be a password. Let's try. Why is this machine taking so much time? I mean, is it still alive? Oh, I'm not gonna ping the hint over here. It's live. We're gonna see over here if that thing works. Let me pause the video over here because there's some mistake in this machine. It's getting stuck. Okay, we are back on. Actually, the machine was getting stuck because of my internet connection, and as you can see, the hint worked. The hint was actually a password over here, so it's no longer a hint, it's a password of the username recruit. Now, what's the command panel? Command panel is something where you can execute commands. Suppose I execute ls, and it shows me super secret pickle ingredient, acids, glue.txt, deny php, and etc. etc. We need to find 3 ingredients. First ingredient, second ingredient, and third ingredient. So as you can see, super secret ingredient we have found over here. Let's try getting it out, or concatenating, you know. Command disable to make it harder for future pickle Rick. Okay, so the cat command is disabled. ID works. So the first thing I need to do over here, as you can see, those commands are blacklisted, they are not working. So what all I need is a reverse shell payload. Let's try netcat. Netcat is also blacklisted. Does Python work? Because if it works, it will be a great chance for us to have a reverse shell. Hello. Okay, basic Python isn't working. What about Python 3? Python 3C. Now this is a trick for all of us. Whenever we are hacking any machine, we get if normal Python command doesn't work, we can also use Python 3. And as you can see, Python 3 does work, and that's a really good news. Let's go to Pentest Monkey Python reverse shell payload. Now, Pentest Monkey is a great site where you can find all the reverse shell user enumeration techniques, cheat sheets about reverse shells, etc. It doesn't give everything, but gives information that's like really beneficial for attackers. There are many programming languages, suppose Bash, Perl, Python. The main thing we're focusing over here is Python. So let's sudo supple payload .txt. No, I don't need a new version. So the first thing we need to do over here is that we noticed Python didn't work, but Python 3 worked. So we can change Python to Python 3, save it, and the next and the final thing is that change the IP to the IP of our attacker machine. if.big 0. Here's my IP. Let's paste that here, and we have to make a note of this thing 1234. This is the actual port that the attacker machine will be listening on, and the reverse shell will be on this specific port. You can also change it to 9999 instead of 1234. 1234 will also work. There's not a big deal. We need to copy everything after this, and the next thing is, before executing this command into the web server, into the command panel, you need to start your listener on the port 9999. Okay, let's execute this thing, and we have got a reverse shell. Yes. Let's ls and super secret pickle ingredient. Let's see if we can get this thing out. Mr. Meeseek here. Congratulations, we have got our first flag over here, Mr. Meeseek here. Now what's the second flag? Second ingredient. There's a clue.txt that can give some clue about the second ingredient. Look around the file system for the other ingredient. Okay, it says we have to look around some file systems, directories, so that the other ingredient is found. What we can do is first of all try in which working directory are we. It's the HTML. Okay. What about the user directory? Home. User and Ubuntu, like Rick and Ubuntu. CD, first of all, Rick. Okay, and here is the second ingredient. You can either get this out by second ingredients in a double quote. This way, or only one file exists, so you can also do this. One Jerry deer. This is the second flag over here. Was the final ingredient, the third and the final ingredient that we need to find. So for this purpose, we need some privilege escalation. Let's try what sudo commands can the normal user run. And all. Okay, that's a really easy privilege escalation technique. Let me give you an example. If I write ID, that will be the normal www data's ID. What if I write sudo ID? It will give 0, the root's ID. And here we are. Who am I will be www data. Sudo who am I will be root. So there's no need for any sophisticated configuration of files, then reestablishing a connection for privilege escalation or any nano editor command execution. Nothing too complicated over here. It's just simple privilege escalation. Now let's check out what's in the root directory. There's a third.txt that can be a hint of the third third flag. Third.txt, and the third ingredient is fleet juice. And congratulations, we have found the third and the final ingredient. This is it for our video, and we have used our DirBuster to completely bust out the files, bust out the directories, and because of DirBuster we found the login.php and the information about the username, passwords. So thank you DirBuster, and this is it for our video. So guys, thank you very much for viewing my video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Thank you.